So this is Warner on Slip Leash, and I'm showing the beginning steps of his journey. He is ready to smell what he wants to smell, go where he wants to go. And he's a very, very independent dachshund. He already has a good foundation obedience base of training, and we have been practicing this in the house and in the yard diligently. Now it's time to try it outside and see how it goes. So basically, he's just really out of tune with me, and I'm going to use a little bit of food just to kind of see if I can reel him in a bit.
Want to take food? Good, sit.
He oftentimes won't take food outside, but I found some treats he really likes, and we skipped breakfast, so let's see how it goes. First,
This is high on your neck.
very important.
Started.
So first I'm going to choose a side. We're going to go with the left. Just choose a side and stick with it till the dog's really good at it. How I'm holding the leash is I've got the loop in my right hand, and I've just got it draped over my thumb with the left. This is so important because I need to make sure my elbow doesn't bend up. He's so low to the ground. It's so important I'm giving directional guidance that is as horizontal as possible.
Good job.
Now I did a few turns, stop and sit food. I don't always do that with every dog, but I thought it might help him. He's so headstrong, and he doesn't have very good drive to follow people, like just natural genetic personality. And so using food for a little extra leverage. Now I'm going to switch it up and give him a surprise check of the leash. So you saw that right there. So I just held the end of the leash, let him hit the end of it. And I don't even think I kicked it back any because I was just kind of testing him on his first time, just hitting the end of the leash. And when he came back to me, gave him a piece of food. I did another little one right there, just like a sudden stop. And I'm just feeling him out. I'm going to actually get firmer with him too. Like I'm just gradually feeling him out. There was another sudden stop with a check of the leash. Like as he hit the end of it, I'm currently not kicking the leash back at the same time. I'm just letting him hit the end of it because I thought he would be sensitive because he's little. Newsflash, he was not sensitive at all. He's a tough little nut. And so I did firm up as we went along. That was a little kickback. So I'm going to slow it down, let you really see what that looks like. So basically what I want you to do is watch my hands. I let him go out. I grab the loop. When he hits the end, I kick it back with my hands. I didn't even move my wrists. This was a really small one. And then when he looked at me, I rewarded him. I motivated him to come to me by stepping backwards and rewarded him with food. And no, I often don't use food outside when doing these kinds of techniques. It depends on the dog. Food was really helpful with him and his type of temperament, so that's why I used it. Here you can see the wind had really kicked up, so I was mixing in more sits with food to kind of try to combat his excitement with all of the leaves blowing by. He's about a year old, a little less. But I'm back to my guidance, okay? So I'm going back to guidance, just guiding him around, which means tension on the leash pressure, and he gives into the pressure. Now, I might need to slowly increase leash pressure, but it's that arm down, horizontal guidance, not the checks or the pops that you saw earlier. Now, this right here is one of those sudden stop techniques where I just hold the leash firmly when I know he's about to hit the end of it. And I look to see if he looks for me. And if he does, good. I either change directions or I can stop and give him food. Either one is fine. But so I've got these kickbacks at the end of the leash, which are bigger, just kicking back the leash a little bit, checking the leash, pop the leash, correction, whatever you want to call it. And then I've just got these sudden stops. But look, notice what he did right there. He did not continue to hit the end of the leash. When I did that sudden stop, he turned towards me. So I'm like, okay, he's figuring this out. But granted, we haven't left, the front of my house. So we need to see what this looks like when we get moving. But this is how you start to practice it. You don't just go on a big, long walk. You kind of gradually build up your space by doing these techniques. So we did some turns, and honestly, I was just losing him more. So we switched to some hard stops. Look at him go. I did some firm ones, but he barely acknowledges my existence. There's one of the bigger ones, and look, he doesn't even look back. By bigger, I mean he builds momentum and just hits the end of the leash. There's another one that actually moved him. Look, doesn't even look back. Now we're going to layer e-collar, which is really going to soften him. But gosh, I really wanted to get him a better understanding of what he does really well inside and in the yard outside. Dog barking made him a little nervous. So because he's struggling so much in my head, I want to try one really firm one where I actually turn and give counter pop, counter pressure as he hits the end of it, which you could see right there. And if that didn't work, then we were going to go back to square one. You know, no big deal. But I just wanted to see if I'm just firm with you a couple of times, can you slow down enough to do more pressure work, more guidance work, and just understand to follow me a bit more? Job. Good. So by pressure, I mean leash pressure, leash guidance, just some gentle guidance. 4 or 5 guidance for every pop. I mean, roughly. Depends on the dog. That's what a pop. So when I say pop and turn, that's what I mean. I don't know if I got the last one on video. Good. So just can't go in a straight line yet. That's okay. Just not ready for that yet. Once they've kind of reined themselves in some, see, checking in, things like that, I can start to do more turns in towards him. I do have to be careful. He's so little. I'm going to step on him. Oh. So I do a little pressure back and I move into him anytime he tries to go ahead. Good job, bud. Time for a break. Sit. Oh, good job. Still taking food on the walk. That's a surprise. Good job. And in case you guys are wondering, he was taught heel with food inside and in the yard. And he's very good at it. But outside, absolutely not. It's just completely gone from his brain that is even an option. You could easily trip with a dog this size, so you almost shuffle your feet a little bit rather than pick your feet up completely when you move into them. Good, he's getting better at it. Good. No. Are we over our food work? We might be. Sit. Warner, there we go. Good job. Break, buddy. Now I know how much he loves to sniff. Warner, break. Come on, bud. So I'm definitely going to give him new areas to investigate, but it's just when I say so. And they might get confused at first if they're not used to that. So you actually, just like I did, you have to go in the area that you want them to go in to let them sniff. Don't walk with them too much though, or you'll end up walking down a whole block. That can get a little confusing in the early stages. Then you put them back in heel, or in our case, let's go. Not quite to a heel outside yet. Let's go. Yep. Good. And again, I am doing a fast paced for now. I'll slow him down later in the walk, or maybe his next walk. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's ready for. So slower is better. It's more calming for the brain. It helps with anxiety, especially separation anxiety, because I have to do a lot more thinking, and it doesn't nurture drive. especially with a dog with short legs that already has to walk really fast at your normal pace. But again, I just don't think he's ready for it yet. This is pretty good. I'm gonna do a turn. Oh, good, he noticed. Good job, buddy. So as you can see, all that work in the beginning and even what we did in the house and in the yard seemed like it completely went out the window. But once we got into a groove and got an understanding with each other about just some expectations, he did great the rest of the walk. Now, tomorrow, I kind of got to start fresh all over again, but he'll improve faster and faster and faster each walk we take.